Start streaming, start recording. Let's talk to America. Let's do I'm feeling so good, I'm going to do another 10-second slide. I'm going to slide right into the program. We're sliding right in. Hey, this is Brother Seamus. I'm your Brother Seamus. I'm going to do another 10,000 millisecond slide. It's the Brother Seamus Show. Today's episode is called Turns Out Mexicans Might Just Be Human Beings After All. So I was down at the Sizzler, right? I was down there at the Sizzler getting me a ribeye. That's what I'm talking about. And then my friend Jim, he was like, hey man, did you hear the Mexicans are invading? They're just pouring in from Mexico. They're invading us. The word invading was the word he repeated the most. And I'll be honest with you, I started to get a mite bit agitated because I was like, shit, man. We're getting invaded on the southern border. I don't know what to do. And he said, it's the Mexicans, man. They're trying to get us or something. And I was like, now hang on a minute. I was like, hang on a minute, Jim. I just was down at the Sizzler, like I said. I guess I'm at the Sizzler right now in this story that I just fucked up. But let's say I'm at the Sizzler. Jim, I just had lunch with a Mexican fella at the Sizzler. It was last Tuesday. I remember now. It was last Tuesday. Everything was packed up because it was Taco Tuesdays at the Sizzler. And so this gentleman and his family let me and my family sit with him at the table at Sizzler. And I said, how do you do? And he said, hello. And then his wife said, we don't speak much English. And I said, that's okay. And we hung out and we got the 4:30 early bird special. I remember that part. And it was a real nice family. Turned out the Mexicans is just like us. But my friend was like, no, man, it's an invasion. And I was like, okay, man, you got to calm down and think about it. If that's an invasion, because we got like the best army in the world or some shit. I mean, we're at least top 3, right? We're at least top 3, Jim, I said. So, anyways, Jim was distressed, and I understand his distress, but he'd been lied to. And that's the theme of today's show is you've been lied to. I know it sounds hyperbolic. And you may say to me, rightfully, you may say to me, but Brother Seamus, I've seen video of people coming across the border. They are invading us. And I would say, now hang on, choose your words carefully. Reasonable people can choose reasonable words. Now, if you watch all the video and your Brother Seamus encourages you to do so, just watch the raw video of the people that are coming. Because guess what? They're not armed. Guess what? They're not armed. How do you have an invasion when it's just families and people walking in looking for work or looking for refuge? Well, how can we blame them for that? But the word invasion really gets people going. This will be on the exam, by the way. The word invasion, very carefully chosen word by our friends over there on the right extreme. I kind of think the political party system is breaking down right before our eyes, and maybe that's a good thing, but voting for a extremist right-wing party where the candidate wants to build concentration camps, people. He said it himself. He's bragging about it at his rallies. Now I'm going to say something to the millennials and the Gen Zs. The Gen Xers, whatever, we're burned out. We've been through too much. We were latchkey children. This is the Brother Seamus Show. I like to jump on and off of topics real fast, but they're all kind of the same topic. And the topic is MAGA is Nazis. And I'm sorry to have to be the one to break it to you if you didn't know that. If you didn't know MAGA is Nazis, people, it is. But I got a message for the Gen Zers and the millennials. I hope you're out there. I hope you're listening. Your Uncle Seamus here, your brother Seamus, whatever. I'm basically your crazy uncle, right? Everybody's got one. But not the bad kind. Not Uncle Touchy's puzzle basement. This is just your good old brother Seamus, your local hometown psychologist. And watching the country being tricked into voting for a guy who idolizes Hitler, it's a mite bit disturbing for me. And there's lots of ways they do it, lots of ways they trick you. But one of the ways is to convince you that regular Mexican people are rapists and murderers. Now, if you're just joining the party and you don't know this, that was one of the very first things that Trump said when he announced he was running for president back in 2015, right? Everybody talks about it like the infamous elevator ride. He basically said that the Mexicans are, quote unquote, sending rapists, killers, and drug dealers. Some version of that, right? He completely smeared Mexicans. He skipped over the fact that it's not just Mexicans that are coming across the border, but B, that the people coming across the border are not dangerous. There's no evidence that they're dangerous. In fact, when they move into a community, the crime rate goes down a little bit. Probably because they're trying to lay low. Wouldn't you lay low if you snuck into a country to get a job? But calling it an invasion gets you scared, right? This is what your brother Seamus is here to talk to you about. Once they get you scared, you're kind of their pawn after that. It's a little bit of mind control. When you're scared, you know, if I talk to my friend over there at the Sizzler, Jim, he's scared. He thinks that there is a legitimate invasion, but he can't account for the fact that there hasn't been any. If it's an invasion, then where are the attacks? They should be attacking us. The Mexicans should be attacking us. They're not. They're coming here to get jobs, people. I'm going to get up here and say this real close now. I probably messed up my light, didn't I? Oh, no, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. We would do the same thing. You know that if there were no jobs here and there were jobs in Mexico that paid cash, even if they kind of sucked, if they paid cash and it was better than what you were doing at home, or you might be like, I don't even have anything at home. I don't have any job available to me. Why wouldn't you sneak across? You're not hurting anybody. I think it should be a misdemeanor like a parking ticket, and if you get like a whole bunch of them, then we have to talk to you. But in the meantime, how about a nice guest registry? You know who thought that was a good idea? Ronald Reagan, the destroyer of the national mental health care system, which led to extreme poverty and homelessness that we're dealing with today. But hey, some of y'all love Ronnie Reagan. I think he's a toad. But I'm a crazy redneck liberal, so you don't have to agree with me or listen to me, but what Ronnie Reagan said is, hey, look, they're helping our economy. Because Ronnie wasn't dumb. He destroyed the mental health care system. Did I mention that? No, but he wasn't dumb, and he said we should keep these folks. We should just keep track of them. We could even borrow Trump's idea of extreme vetting. You get your worker's permit, you come here, if you do anything stupid, then off you go. It's real simple in a way, but they trick you, right? They trick you. Fear is a very, very powerful thing. So my friend Jim over at the Sizzler, I was like, Jim, it's not an invasion, you just agitated. Yeah. And to Jim's credit, he took off his hat, took off his John Deere hat, wiped his brow, because he works hard. And he's like, maybe you're right. When I get on social media, I get fierce upset. And I was like, there you go, Jim. That's your problem right there. Too much social media, bro. I'll say it the way the rednecks say it, because that's how I grew up. Too much social media, that's going to rot your brain, bro. It's going to rot your brain. And you'll be upset all the time. And you know why? Because you have told them what upsets you by clicking the angry face. Clicking any emoji gives them free access to your brain. And what they want is your amygdala, people. Let's see if I got a picture of the amygdala laying around. I usually do. I like to keep track of the amygdala. Actually, let's cut you over to live feed. That's Walla Walla, Washington, people. That's our home office. Broadcast studios for the Brother Seamus Show. We're hosted over on Facebook. We're under the name Humans for Democracy. And it's a long story, but Humans for Democracy sponsors the Brother Seamus Show. Let me give you a look at that. It's better to show than to tell, right? So that's Humans for Democracy. You can read about us. If you're on Facebook and you're catching the live feed right now, you can hit the call button that's on the front of your page. On mine it says manage, because that's who I am. I'm Humans for Democracy, people. Or no, sorry. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm your brother Seamus. We believe women should have the right to choose, especially when their lives are at risk. You're trading an unborn, undeveloped human for a fully functioning adult human. The fully functioning adult human should get priority. We believe immigrants make great Americans, and we sell the dang old t-shirts over there on Humans for Democracy. That's our official merchandise site on bonfire.com. So go to bonfire.com and just type in store/Humans for Democracy. And you'll find us. You'll find our Immigrants Make Great American t-shirts. Okay? And you can get them in all shapes and sizes and colors. I really like the blue on this one. And I hope you'll get yourself a nice t-shirt. That's how we pay the bills over here. Abortion saves women. We believe climate change is real. We want gun safety, not getting rid of everybody's guns. Let me just say something real quick. We'll take the echo off. Pause the music. Where'd you go? I'm going to put you over here in camera 2, I think. It's going to be a good close-up shot. I just want to say one thing before I get back into it. There's never been, this will be on the exam, by the way, there's never been a bill that's been introduced into Congress, as far as I know, you history, political science buffs, check me on this. There's never been a bill where anyone in the United States in any party has tried to repeal the Second Amendment. It's just another way to scare you. We can have gun safety and gun rights. They're just scaring you. Do you know how many liberals like me? I'm a liberal redneck. I'm a heathen too. I'm an atheist liberal redneck that believes in DEI. I believe in all that shit, man. Trans rights all over the place. And even I don't want to repeal the Second Amendment. Why should you take my gun away? I like my gun. A lot of liberals like their guns. Nobody's repealing the Second Amendment, and it's damn near impossible to repeal an amendment. We're just asking to take the NRA and their big money out of the equation so that kids, you know, hey, I don't know, call me crazy. Maybe we should stop shooting our children while they're going to frickin' school. We can't have gun safety? Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously, people. Where are you at? There you are. We can't have gun safety. because you think they're going to take away your guns, and they ain't. You might lose assault rifles, but that's not the end of the fucking world. Big babies. Sorry, I shouldn't be so mean. This is the Brother Seamus Show. Sometimes I get worked up. Where was I? So gun safety is not the same as taking your guns away. It's common sense. If you pistol whip your wife when you're drunk, should you get a gun? If your 3-year-old shoots your 4-year-old with your pistol because you got drunk and you left it on your nightstand, should you get your gun? Shouldn't you at least get a timeout from your gun for a minute if you're that stupid? Hey, we can all be stupid. I get it. But saying gun rights are more important than everybody's safety is absolutely crazy. But they trick you, right? So that's what Humans for Democracy is here to deal with. But I don't want everything to be politics and whatnot. Sometimes you want to listen to the music. This is a track called "Oh Yeah" that you're hearing in the background. Those are some lovely, lovely tiger lilies. They grow like crazy up here in Walla Walla, Washington. Like crazy. They grow like an invasive species almost. Oh, I think they are an invasive species. So welcome to the show. You can call us at 509, the Royal Us, 509-676-6032. The Brother Seamus Show. And what I want to point out here is we already did today's topic. I was going to say something to the millennials and the Gen Zers. So, okay, here's what it was. I don't normally say this because I think it's dangerous to let anyone watch Donald Trump perform at his rallies. But if you're young and you're not sure who to vote for, it's probably only fair to go watch one of his rallies. But don't watch the commentary and don't read the comments. Just watch it for yourself. Let it wash over you. I recommend C-SPAN, which is one of the government public. It's basically federal public access TV. I mean, you can listen to the comments and do whatever. You're a free person. But what I would suggest as an experiment is to watch it for yourself and just listen. I want you to listen for a few things that I'm going to point out throughout the rest of the program here. One of the things I think you should watch out for is that he doesn't really ever tell you how he's going to fix anything, just to be a little bit of a policy nerd. He doesn't ever really tell you. The closest thing he ever really got to a policy was, I'm going to lower taxes on the rich, which he did. Check it off. I mean, he does do stuff he says he's going to do. It's just that it's mostly awful stuff. He's down with the millionaires and billionaires. That's his thing. That's fine. He said he was going to pay for his own campaign because he was so rich he didn't need your money. And now he just begs and bugs and coerces everybody into trying to give him money. So watch for that. I mean, if you don't believe me, get on his mailing list. But you should at least watch one of his rallies. He doesn't tell you that he's going to do anything. Like he said he was going to make healthcare better. And then when it came time to do it, all he tried to do was take away Obamacare. And we're like, well, what's Trump care going to look like? Never, ever came out. Because he doesn't he's the kid, you guys all know this. He's the kid in your class that never does his homework because his daddy's rich and he doesn't have to. But he's very, very good at mass persuasion. And part of why he's so good at it is that it makes him part of why he's so good at it is because he really knows how to say things in a way that get people upset. He's really, really good at that. So he's jiggering around with people in their amygdalas, which I'm trying to pull up get you a picture here of the amygdala. But see that's what my Windows Explorer is doing to me today. So I can't pull up the picture. That's okay. That's okay. We'll get back to that. It's something really weird going on with Windows Explorer, but I'm okay with that. This is your Brother Seamus Show. I work through the technical difficulties right here in front of you. To quote an old radio psychologist, kind of like your brother Seamus, he used to say, I'm working without a net. I guess he didn't. I'm thinking like he came up with that. That's not right. People have been saying that for a long time. Let me get my camera centered up. There we go. So I was down there at the Sizzler, and my buddy Jim came up and he said, hey, there's like a dang old invasion happening at the border. And I was like, Jim, you guys to calm down. They ain't got no weapons. How are they going to invade? They might have a 22 in their boot or some shit. They probably stashing a few pistols, whatever. They ain't no army. They're people looking for work. That's all they are. But if you're scared of them, Trump's genius, and I put the word genius in quotes because that upsets people, but he is kind of a savant when it comes to connecting with people through fear and outrage and grievance. So you millennials, you Gen Zs, if you're new to voting or you don't think that your vote matters, please go to C-SPAN, watch a Trump rally. The more recent, the better, because he gets a little crazier each time. He wants to build concentration camps. I'm not joking. He says it. He wants to put the Mexicans or anybody that came across the Mexican border in concentration camps, and then our economy will tank, by the way. That's a side note. Number two, all they're doing is coming here to work. They don't affect the crime rate. They want you to think there's an invasion. That's what I said to my buddy Jim. I was like, Jim, you got to take her easy, man. So I think he might be all right. I think if you take your time and realize that Mexicans are people just like you, and if the situation was reversed, people, if the situation was reversed, I don't know about you. But I'd sneak right in there. If they had some jobs down there in Tijuana paying cash, shoo, I'd get right in there working. I'd even learn Spanish. I already know a little bit. It's a pretty cool language. You know, learning a second language doesn't hurt you. So here's what's going to be on the exam. Mexicans are human beings just like us. That's what Jesus taught anyway. And they are a pillar of our economy. And if you don't believe me, then why do all these American employers keep hiring people without papers? You know why? Because they need them. Let's face it, Americans, we're not going to do those jobs if we don't have to. They're hard. Farming is hard. Meat processing is hard. Roofing. Can you frickin' imagine doing roofing in August in Miami? Oh, Dios mío, man. Shit. I'm looking at the wrong camera, ain't I? Shit. Brother Seamus, sometimes I look at the wrong camera, but sooner or later I realize my mistake. The only way you can engage, or I should say, let me say it this way. The best way that you can engage your rational brain, your brain that knows how to reason, is you calm down, right? You take a few breaths. Get off the social media. That's Brother Seamus' recommendation number one. As a psychologist, I strongly recommend, I urge you to get off of Facebook, get off of all social media if you can. I know it's embedded in our lives now. It's like cars. It's really hard to give up your car. It'd be a great thing to do for the environment, but a lot of people can't live without their car, and I get it. There are some things we can do, but for now, don't get your politics on Facebook. I wouldn't spend time on Facebook anyway. any industry that can harm us the way social media does, psychologically harm us, and sometimes cause violence. Violence happens because of what people read on Facebook. They want you to call them meta now, but that's just, they're trying to get away from the horrible things that they've done that they know we're about to find out. People are about to understand what Facebook's been doing. Now everybody knows. Even old Sleepy Joe Biden knows. He said it. He said Facebook is killing us. They made him walk it back because they thought it was hyperbolic. The tech people were upset. But you know what, Sleepy Joe? Hashtag Sleepy Joe. You the man. You the man, Sleepy Joe. And you were right. And I think you ought to say it again. Because they're going to pollute people's minds with so much shit. They're not going to know whether they're coming or going. Dictators like Trump rely on that. And I know a lot of you love him and you don't want to think of him as a dictator, but he pretty much said that's what he wants to do. Who were his buddies? Gen Z and millennials have the numbers. I'm a Gen Xer. We always got overvoted, outvoted by the baby boomers. Now, all the baby boomers aren't crazy right-wingers. They're not all MAGA Nazis. And even some of the MAGA Nazis, they don't really understand that they're Nazis. Some of them understand full well, and they're not coming back. But there's a minority, I would guess 20 to 30%, maybe as high as 35% of people that are trapped in the MAGA Nazi cults, that they don't quite realize that they're voting to give up their rights. They've been so convinced that liberals are trying to take something from them, or that the Mexicans are invading, that they're getting ready to vote for a dictator. Forget all the isms, socialism, fascism, Marxism, paradoxicalism. Forget the isms. It's just really about the wealthiest, whitest Americans would like to be able to do whatever they want. They would like to be above the law. And Donald Trump was like, that's cool, baby. I'm down with that. They also want to be able to destroy the climate. They do. I'm not making this shit up, man. And the way they do it is they scare you like they scared my friend Jim down at the Sizzler. I was like, Jim, how you feel now? You took some breaths? You feel better, Jim? And Jim was like, yeah, I think I do. He kind of sounded like, we recorded him right here. I was like, you feel better, Jim? He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If all the millennials and all the Gen Zers voted, you could basically have the Bernie Sanders package, I like to call it. You know what I'm talking about? You'd have the health care. You'd have preschool, kindergarten covered by public funds because we want to help our babies be smart and have good nutrition. You'd be able to hold people accountable. Big corporations could be held accountable. We'd get rid of Citizens United, which if you're just joining us, that'll be on the exam. The case called Citizen United. You can watch all kinds of Netflix specials about it. It basically set it up so that really wealthy people can buy a larger chunk of the government. And that's what hey, surprise, that's what they did. So if you like the Bernie Sanders, and I know a lot of my Gen Xers love Bernie, and I love Bernie too, but I also love Uncle Joe. Sleepy Joe, you may not like him, you may think he didn't do the right thing in Gaza, but I'm telling you right now, he is suing for peace. He's not going to abandon Israel. It just won't happen. That doesn't mean you stop protesting what's going on in Gaza, but you also support Israel, because the regular Israeli people don't want Netanyahu in there either. And Sleepy Joe knows that, and I think he's trying to get rid of him. Give Sleepy Joe a minute, man. He's going to get it done. He's not an extremist. He's running the ball up the middle for a steady 2 to 3 yard gain. We used to call that the 33 blast. back in grade school football, people. Brother Seamus was a 3-back. He'd get the ball from Steve and go right up the 3-hole and usually get clobbered. Once in a while, I'd get a touchdown, but it was a slog. I'd always get a couple yards, see? Always get a couple yards. That's who Joe Biden is. And don't forget, if you elect Joe Biden, this is for the Gen Z millennials, you have such large numbers. You have so much power in your hands. I don't know if you realize how much power. Us Gen Xers are going to help as much as we can, but we burned out, baby. We're freaking tired and shit. We thought, and it's our fault. The baby boomers, I blame them more. But Gen X bought into everything too. We bought into, the environment will be fine. We'll figure it out. Liberals back then would trick themselves by thinking technology was going to solve all of our problems, and we didn't realize that Facebook was going to be used as a brainwashing lie machine, tricking people into thinking there's an invasion. There ain't no invasion. There ain't no invasion, people. You feel me? I said, do you feel me, people? Let me try that again. I said, do you feel me, people? There's no invasion. But Facebook knows. Facebook knows that it upsets you. Their algorithm knows more about you than I, as a psychologist, might learn from giving you a battery of psychological tests, because you offer up to them some of your most sensitive and vulnerable information. When you click the angry face, you're giving them a direct line to your amygdala. This will be on the exam, by the way. Who wants to call at 509-676-6032 and while I find another picture of the amygdala, you call in and tell us what the amygdala does. And I'll give you a hint. It's one of the most basic parts of our brain. It's in that deep middle area of your brain, down there by your brainstem, and it's about the size of the tip of your pinky is what it looks like to me. I ain't never touched one, to be honest with you, but I can tell you it's been with us for a long time, and it causes a pretty strong reaction when you go on Facebook and say, I don't like this article about the invasion. My buddy Jim was like, there's a dang old invasion coming. I was like, Jim, that's made up shit. Yeah. But if you hear something often enough, all of you know this. If you hear something often enough, pretty soon, what happens? Starts to seem true, even if it's not. It's brain fuckery, people. Listen to me. I've been a shrink for 30 years. They're fucking with your brains, and they're doing it through your amygdala. Goes in your eyes and your ears. And my buddy Jim's staring at his screen. He reads about an invasion. And here's the thing. Jim's an open-hearted, open-minded guy. Maybe too much so. Maybe that makes him vulnerable. Jim just went through a divorce. That makes him vulnerable. Jim's having health problems. Jim's got chronic pain, people. Can I get an amen for the chronic pain? Jim's dealing with chronic pain. And then they get in his eyes and they say, Jim. They get right in his brain and they're like, hey, Jim, here's an invasion coming. The other lie that they attach, and this is if you do watch a Trump rally, Gen Z or millennials, I want you all to vote. Number one, I hate to say this, but it's on you. Because Gen Xers, we know we done fucked up by waiting too long for this stuff. But you got the numbers. But they want you to be apathetic about voting. Their best trick with young voters is to make you feel like your vote doesn't matter. Right? But they get into your amygdala I don't think anybody's going to call, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and spoil this for you. The amygdala is your threat assessment center. And when you're on Facebook and you click the angry face because you just read that there's an invasion, what you're saying is not only are you angry, but you're scared. And scared people, like I believe the young man that attacked Paul Pelosi, we don't need to get into that you hate Nancy Pelosi or whatever, who cares? The guy that attacked him was so agitated about the news that he was reading, most of it from QAnon, and it was total bullshit. They fucked with his brain so bad, and he got so scared, although he might not think of it that way. I would like to talk to him. Maybe he'll let me at some point. Maybe we'll make a documentary film about that. My guess is he was reading stuff, and so either fear or outrage. You see, what happens is they both get you to the same place, and that's the place where you have to defend yourself. So I'll bet you if we can get that young man talking and say, dude, you bashed some innocent man in the head with a hammer twice in front of police. You bashed an elderly man's skull because of some bullshit that you read on Facebook, and they know. They knew that you were vulnerable and that there's lots and lots of people who are vulnerable. It's a spectrum. He bashed somebody over the head. He left his home. Broke into an apartment that's not easy to break into. Like, he really broke in. I think he pounded with the hammer, and he went right to the bedroom. If you haven't read the story, it's horrifying. And she wasn't even there. Paul Pelosi, a man, he's either approaching 80, he's up there. He's not a spring chicken. He doesn't need somebody running in his house with a freaking hammer. And the guy's like, where's Nancy? His plan was to, humiliate her, make her say things, and then execute her or something. He was so deranged from what he found on social media. None of that shit has evidence. That'll be on the exam. What's the main problem with QAnon and a lot of shit people read on Facebook? There's no evidence, man. The Stop the Steal movement, it's all made up. There's no evidence. You can read the attempts. They tried to take it to court, and the judge would say, where's the evidence? And there wasn't none. That's what I said to my buddy Jim down at the Sizzler. I was like, Jim, you down here at the Sizzler for the Blue Light Special, the early bird supper, and the Mexicans are sitting right there having supper with you, with their kids. Their kids go to school with your kids. Maybe there's not really an invasion. Maybe that's just some shit somebody made up to scare the crap out of you, and you sit at Facebook and stare at it. And that's what they want. They call that engagement. So if you're on social media, try to give it up, but also, like, who am I? Are you going to listen to me? I'm just some random fucking bald dude on Facebook telling you some shit. You going to believe me? Am I really a psychologist? You don't know. So don't take it from me. Don't take it from Trump. Don't take it from anyone on Facebook. Talk to your friends and your family. Talk to people that you disagree with but you respect. Talk to actual humans about what's going on in the world. Because you know what humans do when they talk in person and not over Meta, Facebook? Facebook corrupts our communication, and it makes false news way more believable. And then when you click on it, let's say you have to still use Facebook, because I know some people, their businesses are on there, and it's not practical to get off, or whatever it might be. You get your grandkids on there, it doesn't matter. You get photos of your grandkids, that's fine. First of all, make your account private. Second of all, don't click emojis, ever. Don't, even the thumbs up. When you say you like something, they know more about you. So my buddy Jim was going through a divorce. He's all depressed. He's sitting up nights. And you know what Facebook wants? They want to be able to say to the pharmaceutical industry, hey, I got this 59-year-old guy named Jim. He goes to the Sizzler every Tuesday for the blue light special, early bird supper. And Jim needs some Cialis or whatever. You know, he needs some boner pills. I'm not trying to be crass. I'm just saying, you know, a man of a certain age, he has some difficulty running the flag up the flagpole. That's all we're saying. And Facebook can say, hey, we got the guy. We got the guy that's going to buy your product. Well, how do you know that? Well, because we've been spying on him. Legally spying. That's what Facebook does. They say, hey, hey, don't mind us. You guys go ahead and have a conversation. We're just going to lean in real close. We're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's going through a divorce. He's 59. He eats too many simple carbs. He's got high blood pressure. He's got a little bit of that spongiotic dermatitis going on. Probably got all effed up by COVID. Luckily, I went to the wrong camera again. Hey, there you are over there. Don't you love my new curtains, by the way? These curtains have helped the look of my broadcast tremendously. I'm very happy with the curtains. If you're building a studio at home, these are simply white bed sheets, and I use little clip-on curtain rings and half-inch metal conduit to build the curtain rail. Works real good. It's cheap. Not real cheap, but you know, a couple $100 you can do a lot of curtains, people. I need to find a way to get reimbursed for my DIY help, right? So Jim's down there at the Sizzler, terrified, because he's been given Facebook. He's been bearing his soul to Facebook, and he doesn't even know that's what he's doing. And Facebook says, hey, pharmaceutical companies, I got your customer right here. This is a high probability client. Let's advertise the boner pills to him when he's up late and he can't sleep because his wife broke up with him and he doesn't know why. He's lonely. He's abusing alcohol. He can't sleep. So he gets on Facebook. He gets on Facebook and he reads an article about an invasion. There's no fucking invasion, man. It's just people coming here to work. And if they're so dangerous, how come the crime rates don't go up? In fact, they go down a little bit. If they're so dangerous, how come I can go down there to the Sizzler on Tuesday for the blue light special, early bird supper, and sit right next to the Mexicans and they're just fine and they're just people like us? How come? If that's an invasion, then what the fuck kind of invasion is that? But Jim was vulnerable. He clicked the angry face when he read about something Biden did or didn't do. Because what Trump is good at, what all dictators are good at, is manipulating enough people into being afraid of some common enemy, especially an enemy that doesn't look like us. We're such visual creatures. Oh, they don't speak our language. Their skin is brown. I heard they're rapists and murderers. So for you young people who might think that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are both equally bad, this is what I hope you'll take away from this. This will be on the exam. Is that they're not even close. They're not even close. You don't have to believe me. Look into it yourself. Just watch one. Don't watch too many because you might get mesmerized, see? That's the danger of recommending to the Gen Zs and the millennials, y'all got as many voters right now, I believe, check my math if you're a political scientist, y'all got as many voters as the baby boomers. So it's really, even though some of you maybe have never voted, and some of you are worried and feel like you have anxiety and there's too much pressure on you anyway, and I get that, but what I want to ask you to do is try as hard as you can to get your butts to the voting booth. Because if you want to change an environmental policy, if you elect Trump, it's going to go backwards again. He's chitty-chatty with the billionaires that own the oil companies. Biden's not perfect on oil, but he recognizes that our climate is we're busting at the seams here, people. Are we going to actually choke on our own fumes? Are we going to let that happen? Donald Trump be happy to let that happen because he doesn't believe it and he doesn't care. Even if it's true, rich people think they won't be affected. They will be, but they think, well, I'll just build my own little place. I'll have a compound, I'll have generators. It's like, yeah, good luck. If you can't breathe the air, you can't breathe the air. And Donald Trump don't care. So I'm calling on the millennials and the Gen Zs. I know you're pretty pissed off and you're kind of fed up with all the bullshit, and it shouldn't be all on you to fix it, but guess what? It is. There's no way we can stop the MAGA Nazis without a massive voter turnout. And I know we said this last time, and it was bad last time. Y'all did good last time. Biden beat the shit out of Trump, and we had the highest voter turnout, I believe, in the history of the United States for a presidential election. Y'all did good last time. And now you got to do better. I wish it wasn't true. This will be on the exam. If you're taking AP Brother Seamus 101, or if you're taking Advanced Mass Communications 232B, this will be on the exam. It is not covered in your textbook. Massive voter turnout is the answer. The question that you'll see on your exam will be some form of, what the fudge are we supposed to do, Brother Seamus? I guess if I'm the one making the test, I should just say, what the F are we going to do? And the answer is massive voter turnout. You want Bernie Sanders' agenda? I do. I believe Hillary Clinton would have gone that direction too. The climate crisis is presenting itself in such a way that if we don't act, we're going to choke on our own fumes, people. I don't like the sound of that one bit. I don't know how y'all feel about it. We had those Canadian wildfires. I don't know if you were around for that. We caught some of that smoke. And see, we're at risk for smoke all the time up here in Walla Walla, Washington. We get smoked out all the time. And let me tell you something. That shit can come on fast. And it's scary. They had smoke as far south as Grand Rapids, Michigan, Chicago. If you're joining us late, jump online and look at the Canadian wildfires and look for photos of Chicago. It's pretty freaky. The good news is, y'all millennials and Gen Zers, you got the numbers. I believe it's time for you. I believe it's time for Gen Zers. Let me turn off the echo. Echo doesn't really help my jokes. I like the echo when I'm preaching. Feels nice. It's kind of like an ASMR thing for me. It kind of scrubs my ear bowls. See, all Gen Zers and your millennials, the bad news is it's up to you. If you don't do it, I think we're effed. And I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but I think it's time for the younger generation, and I'm not ageist, I promise you that, but I think it's time for the younger generation to forcibly take the wheel. And by forcibly, I mean vote your damn asses off. Our turnout, even in 2020, it was the biggest ever, and we're right around 70%. That's pathetic, people. Western Europe, countries in Western Europe routinely get in the 80-90% range for voter turnout. If we did that, that's the end of MAGA Nazis. That's how you get rid of them. So what I want to sell to you here on the Brother Seamus Show, what I'm trying to sell, the product I'm trying to sell besides t-shirts that I showed you a minute ago, I just want to sell you on this idea that even if you're mad, even if you're apathetic, Sleepy Joe is still way better for the future. You may not be happy with your choices. You may want more than a two-party system. I don't really give a shit about that, honestly, because you know what? Parliamentary systems have their problems too. Whatever. We can argue about the two-party system. What we really should be arguing about is how much money there is in politics and how you get that money out. Just like I said a minute ago, if you want the Bernie Sanders approach, we attack corruption at every angle. Just because I'm a billionaire, whether I'm a lefty or a righty, I shouldn't be allowed to just take my money and go buy Supreme Court influence. I shouldn't be able to do that. That's corruption, people. Because you know, if it was used against you, you would say it's unfair. If you're a right-winger and you're like, well, I want to be able to buy Supreme Court justices. Okay, but now we're going to do it to you, too. You're just fucking up the whole system, man. It's time for Gen Zers and Gen Millennials. It's time for Millennials and Gen Zers to forcibly take the wheel through the electoral process. You need to grab that steering wheel. No violence, people. No violence. When they come at you with violence, you lock arms and you hold tight. You don't commit acts of violence, no matter how upset you are with them. Let them do the violence. That solidifies our cause. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that I want to be subjected to violence. But protest is a good thing. Nobody on the left is calling for violence against the MAGA Nazis. We're not calling for violence against the MAGA Nazis, but they're certainly calling for violence against us. A certain percentage of the MAGA Nazis enjoy being violent. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, I believe it was on his Twitter feed. Yeah, I know it's called X. I'm not calling it X because it's stupid. It's Twitter. Change the name to X. Who does that? But old Senator Cotton, he's telling people specifically to engage in a violent manner with protesters. He's encouraging violence. That's what he calls stochastic violence, people. That's where you try to dehumanize. For example, in this case, Tom Cotton wants you to think of the protesters as horrible, disgusting people. He wants you to think of protesters as both dangerous and disgusting. Because then it's okay to be violent against them, except you're forgetting one very important thing. They're your fellow citizens. They're your fellow Americans. Why are you going to commit violence against your fellow Americans, people? I'm just asking. Is that really what you want? Tom Cotton seems to want that. Let's see how we're doing on time. This is, we're at 54 minutes. I try to keep this under 2 hours, make it interesting and all. How stochastic terrorism uses disgust to incite violence, people. This is an article by Bryn Nelson. It's a couple years back. Doesn't matter. This is an evergreen kind of article, which means it holds up under time. When you say Mexicans are rapists and murderers, you cause stochastic terrorism. And what Bryn is arguing here is that the people that want you to be violent try to make you feel like the targets of your violence are disgusting humans. They really use this idea of disgust. And I don't know if Bryn's a psychologist or just studies this kind of stuff, but as a psychologist, I can say that's right on the money. It's right on the money there, Bryn. I hadn't really thought about the disgust element of it, but of course, now that he, she, they, them mentions it, it makes perfect sense. So get up in the Scientific American, November 5th, 2022, and type in how stochastic terrorism uses disgust to incite violence and how it's affecting us. And then I would tack on to this, Bryn doesn't go into this necessarily, but the use of social media to cause that disgust, right? So that's on the exam too. What's the best way to brainwash people? Social media. Who has the biggest reach around the world in terms of social media companies? Facebook. Who has probably one of the most dangerous algorithms that tracks your every move? Did you guys know? Did you know? I'm pretty sure this is true. They won't admit it until we get them into court. Did you know that Facebook can tell how long you're hovering over a page? They keep track of the seconds and probably the milliseconds. That might be a lie that I just made up, but I think it's true. I think they track how many seconds you look at an image. And the piece that I think sometimes people don't think about is that I can pay, you can pay. If you have enough money, you can pay and ask for the types of eyeballs that you want. You might say, hey, I want a bunch of guys like Jim, that guy over at the Sizzler from earlier. Because Jim got real scared when we used the word invasion. And so we would like to send our information toward people like that. So Facebook says, give me this much money. Here you go. It's relatively cheap. Brother Seamus says, I'm going to run my own ads. If you want to get in on it, we'll talk about that later. But Brother Seamus going to run his own ads. I have before. I've run ads before. For a couple $100, just to give you an idea, I think I spent about, we'll say $250. And I ran simple political ads that were just photographs, saying things like, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas is trying to incite violence against peaceful protesters, and if you voted for him, you should call him out on it, unless you think it's okay to go around committing violence, right? And this goes back to my whole argument for the Gen Z millennial voters. This shit's on you now. Because the MAGA Nazi Trump party is calling for violence against other American violence against other Americans and against immigrants too. So if you're a peaceful protester, whether you're supporting Gaza or Israel or both or however you want to do it, just keep in mind the party of Trump wants to let the cops beat you as much as they want with no repercussions. And if you don't believe me, I hate saying this, but go watch a Trump rally. And for those of you Trumpers, you gotta listen to some news outside your bubble, because you were getting hoodwinked, baby. You were getting hoodwinked by this guy. He's very good at it. Luckily, you got Brother Seamus on your side with his beats and his coffee. As long as I got good beats and good coffee to drink, maybe a little bit of that ganja every now and again. I'm just saying, if I got good coffee and good beats, we're going to talk about it. We've already done the Nazi thing. Millennials and Gen Zers, please take the wheel. Please take the wheel. That doesn't mean we get rid of our good, experienced, older politicians. There are plenty of politicians in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, maybe 80s too, that have still got it together, and it's a difficult thing. So this article will be covered on the final exam. If you're taking AP Mass Communication 462 with Mr. Arnall, this is going to be on your test too. First, what is stochastic terrorism, people? Let's define it real good, okay? Let's define stochastic terrorism so nobody can say that I tricked you on the exam. There we go. Stochastic terrorism is when a political or media figure publicly demonizes a person or group in a way that inspires supporters to commit violent acts. If you talk a lot of crap about Mexicans like Donald Trump did when he came down the escalator, the goal is to get people in your group to eventually see them as subhuman or disgusting or so fearful that the only way to defend against them is to commit acts of violence. That's stochastic terrorism. That is stochastic terrorism. Many would argue that people like Senator Tom Cotton are doing the bidding of Senor Donny Pence in encouraging people to take up violence against anyone they don't like, anyone that's protesting, anyone that's coming across the border for work. So if you're a Gen Z or a millennial, I want you to think about a vote for the MAGA Nazi Party is a vote for that kind of violence. Also, dudes, if you don't know this yet, read about the Project 2025 as well. I'm not going to do your homework for you. I'll just tell you, I'll hit the highlights for you. Mr. Trump, Mr. Donny Pants, who broke all kinds of laws, not paying the hush money. The hush money wasn't the problem. It was the fake invoices and the lying about it to cover it up. Trump always gets in trouble for hiding what he did. He didn't have to hide the Stormy Daniels story, but he did. He panicked. And he thought he could sweep it under the rug. And he kind of did for a minute. It helped him get elected. But he broke a bunch of laws doing it. He could have just said, yeah, you got me. And his supporters would have been like, yeah, they wouldn't have cared. He might have gained in the polls. I shouldn't laugh, but that's how, if y'all are supporters of Trump, you know this, he can do no wrong in your mind. There's nothing he can do. Millennials and Gen Z voters, that's a critical difference. The Biden voters support Biden, but they also disagree with him on things. I disagree with Biden on certain things. But I'll tell you what I agree with him on. Hey, Joe. Mr. President, when you said Facebook was killing people, you nailed it, brother. You nailed it. And I know in your position, you can't just say shit like that. It's too bad. That's the tough thing about being president. I guarantee you that hashtag Sleepy Joe wants peace right now in Gaza. If he could turn off the spigot, he would. But he's not going to turn his back on Israel. He wants to get Netanyahu out, and I think he's working on it. He's not from the generation where he's going to abandon Israel. And I'm not saying we should abandon Israel. We don't need to. The thing isn't to hurt Israel. It's to get right-wing extremists out of office over there, too. So, stochastic terrorism, and also what Mr. Trump would bring, is a complete reckless disregard for the Palestinian people. Trump doesn't care about that. He's not going to do anything to help them. Netanyahu's a right-winger. Trump's a right-winger. They're going to scratch each other's backs. You might be mad at Biden, but Trump would give Netanyahu extra bombs, and he would give him legitimate political cover to just level the city. He kind of bragged about it already. That's the thing with Mr. Donny Pants. He does kind of tell the truth in a weird way sometimes, and then he lies his ass off about shit he doesn't need to lie about. All those documents, you know why Joe Biden didn't get indicted, and you know why Mike Pence didn't get indicted, and all the other people who've taken documents home? Because they said, oops, I'm sorry. Mikey Pence said, oops, I'm sorry. Joe Biden said, oops, I'm sorry. And the archives took the records back. They gave him a little scolding, right? They said, old Joe, he just couldn't remember. And it's like, whatever. People lose papers all the time. Now, Donnie had quite a truckload, let's be honest. For those of you that are Trumpers, just look at the amount of shit that he took. Now, I have read that he's a bit of a pack rat, and he likes memorabilia. But just look at how much he took, people. And then, when they said, hey, give us that stuff back, we know you took it, he said, no, I didn't. And the FBI was like, we know you got it. No, I don't have it. I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, all right, we'll get a search warrant. They intentionally executed the search warrant, for those of you that are believing Donny Pants' nonsense. They executed the warrant on purpose when he wasn't there. Donald Trump wants you to think that the FBI wanted to shoot him. And they were like, no, we're not shooting him. We're not even going to do it when he's there, but we know he has the material, so he lied about it. And then he tricked a lawyer into saying they'd given it all back after the search, but then he hid some of it. And then his people got caught on camera hiding it, and then he tried to destroy the evidence. That's what Donny Pants do. That's what he do. So don't vote for that shit. Don't vote for MAGA Nazi shit. You know what it is. We've been here before. Now, I don't have a caption for this one yet. This is some AI art that I made up. I'm going to leave that up on the screen for a minute. I'm going to put our phone number up there because some of y'all, someday, you might want to call us. If you're over on Facebook on Humans for Democracy, there's a call now button at the top of the page. Give us a call. We won't hurt you. We might disagree with you, but we're not going to do bad things to you. We don't call for violence on this side. That's the difference, folks. That's the difference. If you're a young voter, please, please, please get out and vote. I know it sounds boring. I told you last time about the young voter that I talked to that was proud that he wasn't voting, and I was like, oh, dude. I get it, though. I get it. You're sick of it. It's bullshit. You can't even buy a house now. And I don't blame Trump or Biden for that. I blame capitalism for that, because that shit goes sour, man. That shit goes sideways. I want to point out in this cartoon image here, I made this with AI, and it's fun. It's fun to do AI. And it's weird that they have it looks to me like Donald is intentionally touching the tip of her boot. AI Donald, I should clarify. This isn't real, people. It's AI. It's also a cartoon. It looks to me like he's kind of he's toe touching her right there. That's what it looks like to me. If you have any ideas of how you'd like to caption this, please put it in the comments there over on the YouTubes. And let us know. We'll be back in a few minutes. Oh, yeah. right, people. Just remember, apathy's not an answer, really. Apathy won't get you anywhere. I get it, though. You're like, I don't care. I don't like either party. They all suck. Well, if you really believe that, then get your fellow apatheticals together. If you really believe in apathy, you could improve the system immediately, almost overnight. I know some of you don't believe that and you think I'm blowing smoke up your butts, but I'm not. Gen Z and millennials combined have the vote. You have the vote in hand. But you have to execute on it. And I know. It's easy to be cynical. Life is difficult, right? Life is difficult. It's easy to be cynical, and your brother Seamus understands, but that doesn't mean you should give in to that feeling. Don't vote for a candidate who supports and encourages stochastic terrorism, people. That will be on the exam. If you wanna call up at 509-676-6032, I'm your brother Seamus. We can talk about stochastic terrorism. And really, at the end of the day, not only does your vote count, it might be the only thing to save us right now. I hate to say it that way. I hate to be hyperbolic, but if the MAGA Nazis get their way, they will encourage you, like in this image here, they will encourage you to see regular human beings as fearsome, loathsome rats. Another popular way to dehumanize people that was used with great success in the Rwanda when the Hutus, I believe, massacred the Tutsis. I might have that backwards, I apologize, but there was a massacre based on the idea, and these people were related. It was just one village attacking another. One ethnic group attacking another, and the way that they inspired the attack is they took over the radio. This is one of the ways they inspired it. And they kept referring to the other group as cockroaches. Now, in this image, we see a fearsome rat. And if you're not sure who to vote for, ask yourself, do you want to vote for the guy that says Mexicans are rapists and murderers and that they're poisoning the blood? That's what Mr. Donnie Trump likes to say about immigrants, especially if they're brown-skinned and especially if they're Muslims. He wants to kick them right out of the country. He's very biased against the Muslims. And he wants you to be afraid. He wants you to be so afraid, like my buddy Jim down there at the Sizzler. He wants you to be afraid that they're here to hurt you. Infect the blood of our culture is what he said. You know who says that? Dictators. Adolf Hitler in particular. Donnie Trump loves him some Adolf. You know what I'm saying? So the Republican Party has been taken over by Nazis. MAGA is Nazis. We covered that before. That will be on the exam as well. MAGA is Nazis. And don't let them fool you just because they wear matching blue suits, okay? Just because they wear matching blue suits with red ties, don't be fooled by that. Don't be fooled by the matching suits, because you know what they say about Nazis? I think I got a loop here that addresses this topic.
Them Nazis
Sure do like dressing snappy.
Pants and their dress. dressing snappy.
Them Nazis.
Hansen's are galujers. Sees Nazis. Sees Nazis. Sees.
Them Nazis.
Them Nazis sure do like dressing snappy.
They sure do, people. Them Nazis.
They sure enough do.
They sure enough do. Them Nazis. They like dressing snappy. They also like to make you believe that another human being who's
Nazis
crossing...
sure do like dressing snappy.
They make you believe that another human being that's crossing the border for work is a rapist and a murderer. They want you to believe that all the Mexicans, they do. The MAGA Nazis want you to believe that. It all comes from their hero, Senor Donny Pants. Senor Donny Pants, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, he's just a bad person. He wants you to be so afraid of Mexicans or Muslims or Africans. He wants you to be so afraid that you'll be inspired to go out and do violence against them. And if you're scared enough, and if you keep hitting the angry face on Facebook, if you're scared and agitated enough, we can all lose it, people. We all have a limit. So even though I joke about Donny Pants, little Donny Pants, he's very dangerous. I would treat him like a giant scorpion that's in my house. Realize he's deadly and face him off and drive him out of your house. We're not talking about violence here. We're talking about political action. Gen Zs and millennials can take control right now, and I think you should take the wheel. I mean, us Gen Xers, we fucked it up pretty good, didn't we? We got all kinds of climate change going on. I've been burning fossil fuel since I was 14. Since back in 1979, mowing my grass. I'm not ashamed of it. I didn't know. We convinced ourselves it was going to be fine, but it's not going to be fine. But guess what? You know who's cozying up to little Donny Pants right now? Fossil fuel billionaires. You don't have to love Joe Biden. You don't even have to vote for Joe Biden. You can just vote to save the environment. Don't forget, if you do vote for Joe Biden, I encourage you to do so. Hashtag Sleepy Joe. If you do vote for Joe, first of all, he's a regular guy. He came up working class, people. He stood on the dang picket line with union workers. The President of the United States has never done that before. That tells you a little bit about Joe Biden. You may be mad at him about Gaza. I get that. You may believe the disinformation about Russia attacking Ukraine and think we shouldn't be supporting Ukraine, but we have to, because they're being mauled. They're being mauled by a sociopath who happens to be one of Senior Donny Pants' idols. Donny Pants idolizes the shit out of Vladimir Putin. He wants to be Vladimir Putin. He's in love with Kim Jong-un. He said it himself. And no, I'm not saying he's in love with him like romantically. I'm just saying they sure enough do. Them Nazis, they sure do love to dress snappy. You know what I'm talking about?
Them Nazis.
Them Nazis.
Sure do like dressing snappy. Pants.
They sure do like dressing snappy, people. So MAGA, this will be on the exam. MAGA is Nazis. Little Donny Pants is in charge. People like Senator Tom Cotton are calling for stochastic terrorism, which is basically, I get you to go out and attack other people, just like the young man who attacked Paul Pelosi. You could hate Paul Pelosi for being married to Nancy Pelosi. You're allowed to hate their politics. You're not allowed to bash people in the head with a hammer. But that young man, I guarantee you, was radicalized on Facebook or the equivalent. I'm pretty sure he was a Facebook user. If I was in his family, if I was him, I would look for a plaintiff's attorney, they call it. I think he was abused by social media. It's a toxic product. Just like lawn darts. Lawn darts were fun, but it was too easy for kids to hurt themselves or drunk adults. They took them off the market because they were too dangerous, too easy to misuse. Social media is the same thing. Not only is it too easy to misuse, it's too easy to abuse. If you have enough money and you want to lie to people, you can find the people that are most likely to believe your lie. I might be in your social media feed right now because I paid to be in it. And if you click the angry face because you don't like what I'm doing, guess what? You make me stronger. Because now they know what makes you angry. Good social media self-defense. This will be on the exam if you're taking Mass Comm 467, Section 3. What are the best ways, if you're on social media, and I encourage you to get off, go outside, talk to your friends and neighbors, go play some pinball, move your body around. Don't sit around and stare at social media all day. It's dangerous. But if you're going to be on social media, don't react to anything. Don't give them information about you. You can still read stuff. If your friend posts something that you like, get a hold of your friend. Call them up on the damn phone and say, hey, I like those pictures you posted up there of the Grand Canyon. It's pretty cool. And then go play pickleball or something, or get some ice cream. Go see a person in person. These folks that end up committing stochastic violence are often isolated men. And you might be thinking to yourself, Brother Seamus, this does not affect me. I am not affected by propaganda. Well, first of all, yes, you are. We're all affected. It may not work on you for the most part, and that's good. I hope it doesn't work on you, but it might be working on you without you even realizing it. Some of the effects are subtle, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes it works on you, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it sometimes. Even your brother Seamus, as much as I hate to admit it, in the right circumstances, if I was upset enough or going through a difficult time, or if I was addicted to something or I had chronic pain, it might work on me too. Because all they got to do is make you afraid. Once you're afraid, they got you. Because then you'll start to believe things with your feelings, and they'll tighten their grip on you. They call it stickiness in the tech world. Facebook's a very sticky app, but you know when it's most sticky? When you're enraged, right? The motto at Facebook is enraged equals engaged. That's kind of their defining principle. Enraged equals engaged, people. So don't let them trap you. Get off of social media. Don't take it from me either. Who am I? Who am I to tell you how to think? I am your brother Seamus, and I've been practicing psychology for 30 years now. Doesn't mean I know everything, but I can tell you, I can identify brainwashing when it's happening. And believe me, it's happening. It's happening to a lot of people. I think at least a third to a half of Trump supporters don't really realize that what they're doing is voting to go back to a king system. And Donald Trump's I'll give him credit for this. He's kind of honest about it. He's like, I do want to be king. They're like, you don't want to be a dictator, do you? He's like, no, I like the dictator. So you millennials and Gen Z, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but do you want a dictator? That's kind of the whole reason we started this self-governance project. Don't worry about the word democracy. People are trying to trick you with the word democracy. They'll say, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Yeah, and so what? And Canada's a constitutional monarchy. So is Mexico, I think. It's all self-governance, people. They want to say we weren't meant to be a democracy, but they're tricking you with that too. They're talking about a pure democracy. We don't have a pure democracy. We have a representative democracy. If we had a pure democracy, we'd already have Bernie Sanders' agenda in hand. Yeah. But the Senate is biased and the Electoral College is biased because of population and giving every state 2 senators. So we're biased against the left, really. The system is biased against the left, but the right claims that they are the victims of bias. But y'all can push them out. Y'all have the electoral power, but you have to use it. And Gen Xers like me, we're going to try to do everything we can. I mean, some of us get co-opted too. People from every generation get co-opted. It kind of can't be helped in some ways. It's human nature. But I will say this, go to C-SPAN and watch a Trump rally and ask yourself, and then read about Project 2025. I'm telling you folks, concentration camps are on the menu. And I think we know where that leads. I was going to put up some images of that, and I might next time. But we all know where it leads, don't we? Concentration camps. Come on, people. We can do better. If you're feeling apathetic, I'll leave you with this. This is the slide I was looking for earlier. Forget it. Take the people's names out. Take little Donnie Pants off the ballot. I know that makes you mad, some of you, that when I call him little Donnie Pants, but let me just remind you that dude gives everybody a demeaning nickname. So I'm going to keep calling him little Donnie Pants. I hope it doesn't make you too upset, but I hope what you'll realize is this is what you're really voting for. Your brother Seamus likes to break things down into their basic parts, okay? This is really what you're voting for. Forget about hashtag Sleepy Joe and little Donnie Pants. Sleepy Joe is going to protect abortion no matter what. He's consistently, defiantly, and even though he was raised Catholic, he realizes that if you take away abortion rights, if you take away reproductive health care, you are A, committing a crime against humanity by putting full-grown adult, fully developed women's lives at risk. Joe Biden will defend reproductive health care. Now, some of you get upset about abortion. You're like, you're killing babies. Like, no, you're not killing babies. They're not babies. Sometimes it feels like they are. We kind of make them seem like babies. But the lights aren't on and nobody's home until at least the 3rd trimester, at least, if not longer. But now ER doctors and OBGYNs are so afraid of getting sued, they have to make you sit in the waiting room while you bleed out because your life isn't sufficiently at risk. That's what losing abortion is about. It's about harming women and endangering their lives even when they want to keep the baby. See, now I said it. Even when they want to keep the fetus. Even when they want to be pregnant and they want to carry the pregnancy through to term, Mother Nature's a mad scientist, and shit goes wrong. And now they can't get help. Because a bunch of older male politicians want to be in the bedroom. They want to control the body. They want to be in your doctor's office with you and tell you you cannot have an abortion for any reason. And they both threaten the doctors with jail time, and they reward the general public with vigilante fees. If you turn your neighbor in, right, you'll get some money. If you're like, hey, I think I seen that girl down at the Sizzler. She looked kind of pregnant one day. I can't prove that, but I think she was pregnant, and so I seen her. Now she's not pregnant anymore. Any number of things could happen, but I'm going to go ahead and say she had an abortion, and y'all can harass her, investigate her, and maybe put her in jail along with her doctor because she chose her own she made her own decision about her life. Vote for Sleepy Joe means we protect women. A vote for Donald Trump, who brags. Let me pause this right here just in case you didn't know this. He's bragging now. He's been bragging that he got rid of Roe versus Wade. He brags about it. And now they're talking national abortion ban, and you know he's going to sign it. And you know why? Because that's the real conspiracy. It's not the QAnon shit. Donald Trump got in bed with the fundamental Christians who want to take over the government, just like the Muslim extremists did in Iran. He's bragging about it. So 10-year-old girls who've been raped have to go out of state to get an abortion. And if they can stop you from doing that, they will. I don't know about y'all, but I've been messing around with politics for 20, 30 years now. I've never seen anything this close to pure Nazism focused on women. So you definitely got to vote for Sleepy Joe on that one. Gun safety, same thing. Same thing. Little Donnie Pants is very proud and stands up in front of the NRA sign all the time and basically says you can't have any restrictions on guns ever for any reason. Even though our kids are being killed in school, they're being murdered in school, and nobody's talking about getting rid of the Second Amendment because you couldn't get rid of it if you tried because liberals like guns too. You ask my buddy Jim down at the Sizzler. We got in there for the 4:30 blue light special, early bird supper, and Jim showed me his new gun. I showed him my new gun. We went out and shot our guns together. We like guns. We're responsible gun owners. If you get drunk and leave your gun out and your 3-year-old shoots, hopefully they shoot you in the ass or something and nobody dies, should you get to keep your gun? Shouldn't you at least get a little bit of time out for that? Gun safety is not gun abolition. It'll never happen. But Mr. Trump is an excellent fear-mongering communicator, and he knows that if he keeps telling you we're going to take away your guns, that you'll lose your minds. Now, this isn't all on Trump, but one of the other reasons you got to vote for hashtag Sleepy Joe is the Republican Party in general has always targeted black and brown voters, but they're getting even better at it now. Well, I shouldn't say they're getting better at it. They're getting more brazen at it. You know, if you've seen the most recent season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, you know that Larry David gives Auntie Ray some water because she's standing outside in the hot sun down in Georgia, down in Atlanta, waiting to vote. He gives her some water and he gets arrested. Well, that's comedy, but it's based on a real thing. You can't even give voters water when they're waiting in line. That's against the law now in Georgia. And that's just one example. Their overall goal, without getting into the weeds today, because we'll get into the weeds later, is they target black and brown voters to try to stop them from voting any way they can. That's what Team Trump does. Little Donnie Pants, little MAGA Nazis. They don't like black and brown people. Okay? You know, Trump got in bed with the evangelicals who really, really want to control women. But he also got in bed with the white nationalists, which just basically is the KKK wanting to run the government. They are not going to let black and brown people vote if they can stop it. And if you look at the Stop the Steal movement, people, I'll let you in on a secret. If you're just signing in today, you got to rewatch this whole video if you want credit for AP Mass Communications 316 in Miss Fick's class. See, I tricked myself. I started thinking about the tech, and I forgot the point I was going to make. The black and brown voters, when they did Stop the Steal, they really just targeted black and brown communities. And it was this idea that, these black communities that really turned out, especially black women. Way to go, black women. Y'all turned out. Black women are saving the country, by the way. And the millennials and the Gen Z. We need all of y'all, but black women been keeping us strong for a while. I don't think they get the credit that they deserve. Black female voters, here's to you. But when they did Stop the Steal, they basically said, it was the black people cheating. Somehow they're cheating. It's like they have no evidence of cheating. Out in Arizona, they, I think it was more focused on the brown people cheating. See, they want you to believe that there's something sinister going on, and they just keep saying something's going on. Mother effers ain't got no proof, man. And that's what your brother Seamus is here to remind you. These mother effers ain't got no proof. And if you're caught up in this, if you're caught up in the MAGA Nazi movement, you can call us at 509-676-6032. We can talk you out of it. Not through force, not through threats, not through condescending, not through making fun of. We just talk it out, man. Yeah. That's what we do on the Brother Seamus Show. We talk it out. This is a live call-in experimental variety show with beats. Today's beats are brought to you by a music producer. He's way out east there. Way out east in West Michigan somewhere. His name's Sam Kenny. He produced this dance jam that you're hearing right now, y'all. Your brother Seamus provides the vocal loops. I like to do some vocal loops, people. Like this vocal loop right here. Yeah. Let's see if it comes up. I use a ditto pedal, ladies and gentlemen, to make my loops.
Nancy's sure do like dressing snappy. Pants are dressing snappy. Pants and snappy. Hip and nappy.
So that's the kind of loops I throw them out there to my producer. He's over there in Kent County somewhere, not too far from the water. He's got a pet pig. He's got a pet pig named Dum Dum. So I give him an idea what kind of beats I want. Sometimes I give him some samples of beats. And he goes to work. Sorry about that, people. I stepped away for a minute to get my coffee, clean a little bit of the... I like to clean the cobwebs out of my brain. We'll get back to our card. That's today's homework. We'll get back to that in a minute. I wanted to put up... This is our official "We'll be right back" slide. I forgot to put it up, and I apologize. We'll be right back with you in a minute. This is a track called "Oh Yeah" by Brother Seamus and Sam Kenny out of West Michigan. We're coming at you live in Walla Walla, Washington. You can call us anytime. If I don't pick up, that just means I'm putting my face on. I hope you'll join us. Nobody ever does join us, so don't feel bad. I guess I should be saying don't feel bad. Like, to whom? I'm saying it to myself, okay? I'm saying don't feel bad because it's kind of nice not having any callers. I probably someday I'll get so many callers. Here's my prediction. I'm going to get so many callers I'll get sick of it. Because really, your brother Seamus just likes to preach. He likes preaching at you, sometimes with a little bit of echo. Take 5, smoke them if you got them. Every time you react on Facebook, every time you click a happy little emoji, every time you click a happy little emoji, you give them the ability to get inside your head. Like my buddy Jim down there at the Sizzler. So what's happening, in effect, is the MAGA Nazi Party is selling their idea to people who are most vulnerable. They knew Jim was going through a divorce. But see, Jim got smart. He started talking to his neighbors. He started talking to his family, even if they disagree. He said, I need to hear both sides. If you only listen to the MAGA Nazi side, you're not getting the whole story. And that's what your brother Seamus is here to do. I'm here to right that wrong. I'm here to find you on the social media that I decry. Yes, I understand. It's interesting, right, that I'm using social media to effectively call for the end of social media. I mean, not the end. That's extreme. But there have to be some freaking regulations, man. It's like guns. The more guns, the more automatic weapons we have, semi-automatic weapons, the more shootings we have and will continue to have. And countries that have assault weapon bans don't experience that kind of violence while enjoying gun rights as good as our gun rights or even better. But they get you on that Facebook, and they get you thinking about guns being taken away from you. You get scared. Facebook figures out you're scared. And then, just like my brother Jim down at the Sizzler, you get targeted. And it works. They know you're going through a divorce. You told them. You told them about your divorce. Mr. Zuckerberg wants us to forget that he can control that algorithm. He wants to change his name to Meta so we'll forget. But we're not going to forget, are we, people? We're going to use social media to force legally through the electoral process to force Facebook and all the social media companies to be accountable for the bullshit that they spread. They are all protected by what's called Section 230, which basically is a get-out-of-jail-free card for Facebook. It says they're not responsible for anything that's published on there. So when a young man reads about QAnon and he's vulnerable, maybe he's got some mental health issues, maybe not. Maybe he's just trying to get off the cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're trying to get rid of some bad habit, and it takes a lot of willpower, and it's hard. And then you get on Facebook and you read this QAnon sense, because that's what it is, people. It's QAnon sense. There's no evidence to support that shit, but it gets people worked up. So one young man, whose name I'm not going to use right now, he got a knife and basically decapitated his own father. He decapitated his own father because of what he read on social media. Section 230 says that family has no recourse because it was a senseless crime, right? I doubt the dad had done anything to deserve decapitation, but even if he had, that's not the legal process. Do you want a country that has a legal process, or do you want a country where might makes right? And if little Donny Pants and all of his allies can pump billions of dollars into Facebook, which is now valued at over $1 trillion, if I'm not incorrect, for the stock economic people, if you look that up for them, I'd appreciate it. Sometimes I know, I don't know the numbers, but I know that Facebook is right around $1 trillion valuation, and they make tons of money from people that are spreading disinformation. They don't want you to think about that. And they don't want you to think about the fact that that misinformation makes them at least partly responsible for the violence that is done in the name of take your pick. Right now we call it QAnon. It doesn't matter what it is. It's where a certain number of people are convinced that a certain group, usually a minority group, often people with darker skin or often people from Jewish descent, are targeted and blamed for whatever it might be. And then they're referred to as vermin, right? Deadly rats. They're referred to as cockroaches. And then somebody out there, this young man who decapitated his own father for reasons that probably don't make any sense, but he was fired up on that juice. You know, he's huffing. He's mainlining Facebook. Facebook, meanwhile, pockets the money for having spread that garbage around. They pocket the money, and they keep spreading it around. And people, I don't think we can control it. I don't think we've evolved enough, and I say this as having been a psychologist for 30 years, I don't think people can help getting sucked into these rabbit holes. I'm not saying that excuses decapitation, okay? Your brother Seamus might be dumb, but he's not stupid, okay? I'm not saying it justifies decapitating your own paterfamilias. That's patricide, by the way, people. If you kill your own daddy, that's patricide. I'm not saying Facebook is 100% responsible for the patricide in this case, but they're partly responsible. And they profit continue. They profit as we're speaking. They profit right this minute. If I could reach through over here and touch the Facebook stream, it's running so hot and so big and reaching so many people around the world. They have the biggest reach of every company. That's why I use Facebook as a stand-in for all social media. And let's not let them keep their meta name. Call them Facebook so we remember who they are, because they're trying to slip out now. They're trying to slip out. They're a dangerous product, is my argument. Having been a psychologist for 30 years, I feel it's pretty safe to say social media can be real toxic, and it can be bad for your brain, and especially bad for your brain if you're going through something, or if you've been through trauma, or if you're struggling with addictions or depression, which is a lot of people. Are you vulnerable? Are you susceptible to believe that the election was stolen, even though it wasn't and there's no evidence? They went to court. You can read the court records. I believe it's around 61 cases. You don't have to believe me. Go look it up. There was no evidence presented of votes being stolen. And if you steal that many votes, tens of thousands of votes, there's going to be some evidence. And if you find evidence, good. Let's look at it. But if you're vulnerable to believe that and they target you day after day after day, your mom just died and they target you. You get diagnosed with a terrible rash on your lower extremities, they target you. And once you're scared, if you are the kind of person who might turn fear into violent action against the people making you afraid, because that's what it is, you're afraid of the vermin, you're afraid of the cockroaches, so you go to kill them. That's today's episode of Stochastic Terror. That's number 4 on our list, people. These are the reasons to go ahead and vote for Sleepy Joe, especially the millennials and the Gen Z, because if you don't, you may not love Sleepy Joe. You don't have to. Hashtag Sleepy Joe. I'm just saying this is what you're actually voting about this time. And today's episode is about number 4, Stochastic Terror. Yes, this will be on the exam, even for the transfer students from the community college taking Intro to Mass Comm 201. You're going to want to memorize this list. And I may add to it or change it. As I'm looking at it, Stochastic Terror it stands out, but maybe we should just say That word stochastic, I think, is going to throw people off. I'm critiquing my own pedagogy. And healthcare is the last one. I don't know. For those of you just joining the game, I'll give you a quick breakdown of how the healthcare thing has gone under Trump. Trump was so mad. Okay? Donald Trump was so mad at Barack Obama because he burned him. He roasted him. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. Obama had good timing, he's got good comedic skills, and it's kind of funnier coming from Obama because he doesn't seem like he would be naturally comedic. So there's something about the juxtaposition of the presidential side and the comedic side, but he burned Trump's ass so bad. He burned Trump's ass, and Trump should have just laughed and said, hey, you got me, whatever. But he couldn't do that because Donald Trump can't handle being shamed, right? That's part of being a tyrant. That's part of being what we now call cluster B personality disorder. A little bit of sociopathy and psychopathy mixed with some narcissism. Throw in a little bit of histrionic, maybe a touch of borderline, not too much. You got to go easy on that when you're making personality disorder stew. But anyway, the point is he couldn't take it. So he said, I'm going to run for president and I'm going to get rid of Obamacare. He wanted that so bad, people. He was so mad at Barack Obama just for delivering some jokes. Trump could have hired excellent writers and told some jokes about Obama, but he didn't do it. You know why? Because he reacts to any humiliation with violent revenge. And if you millennials and Gen Zers go out there and watch a couple C-SPAN Trump rallies, pretty much you can track how dangerous what he's saying becomes as we get closer to the election. He wants revenge. Oh yeah. He can't believe Sleepy Joe, #Sleepy Joe beat him. But anyway, getting back to Obamacare, Trump said the first thing I'm going to do when I'm president is get rid of Obamacare, which at first people were like, hey bro, you know that when you get rid of Obamacare, that like 40 million people won't have health insurance, and a lot of them voted for you. And you know what he said? It's been a while now, but you can find it online, I'm sure. Trump basically said, this is not comedy right now. This is actual truth that is just so funny. If it wasn't terrifying, it'd be funnier. Trump said, I'm going to get rid of Obamacare and replace it with Trump Care. I'm like, okay, he's an egotistical son of a bee, and he needs to put his name on everything. But okay, tell me about Trump Care, because if it's better than Obamacare, guess what? Democrats will vote for it too. Obamacare's not bad. It works. They want you to think it's a disaster, but 40 million of you have it and it's working. And it's not even government health care. It's a government clearinghouse where you go in there and you pick a plan and you get some subsidies. You get some money back. That's how Obamacare, and Obamacare is also a consumer protection plan, if you're not aware of that. And all that means is the insurance company has to give you certain basic minimums. Obama was protecting your right to have a basic kind of minimum health care. And they have to cover you for that, like physicals, prostate exam. I'm going to get the camera. I'm going to get my colonoscopy here soon. Your brother Seamus is going to be on the table getting the camera up his hiney. And that's something I don't have to pay for. It's part of Obamacare. I get the free camera up my hiney to see if I got any cancer up there, and that's a good thing. They found if you prevent it, if you catch it early, it's easier to stop. Obamacare protects your right to have that, and a variety of other basic health care. So Trump said, I'm going to get rid of that shit because I don't like Obama told some jokes about me over there at the roast, over at the Friars Club or someplace. I don't remember where it was, but he got roasted. Obama roasted him. To get revenge, Trump said, I'm going to take away your health care. And we said, but Donnie, little Donnie Pants, we need something. what do you got? He said, I got Trump care. He did. Trump care. And everybody said, what is it? Although a lot of the media, they really let him off too easy on that one. They're like, well, what's Trump care? Tell us what it is. How's it better? How much does it cost? Is it automatic? Do you have to have a job? How does it work? And you know what he said? This is for real. This is what Trump said to that question. What is Trump care? And he literally said, I'll tell you later. First, get rid of Obamacare. And then I'll let you look at Trump care. It's the healthcare equivalent of, I'll gladly pay you on Tuesday for a hamburger today. It's a basic con. He didn't have Trump care. There never was Trump care. So you millennials and Gen Z, it is up to you to save us now. The black women have been saving us forever. Thank you to all the African American women for voting. The voter turnout amongst African American women is where it needs to be for all of us. They're the only group that I'm aware of that votes, I believe, over the 80% mark. Black women know what it means. So if you're a young millennial or a Gen Z and you're feeling apathetic, think about raising. Don't let the apathy encourage you not to vote. Make you vote more. Use the apathy to vote more. Use the apathy and say, how come the black women aren't apathetic? How come their voter turnout is so high? And I'm not accusing anybody of being dumb or that the African American women are smarter. I'm just saying they're more aware. It's not like young voters are stupid. But black women know what it means, so their turnout rate is high. That doesn't mean they can't get tricked. That doesn't mean that they can't be bamboozled by a guy like Donald Trump. They can. It can happen. Yeah. But most black women, I believe, look at Donald Trump and they know exactly what he is. He's a huckster. He's a liar. He's a cheat. He's a con man. Huckster, liar, cheat, con man. Huckster, liar, cheat, con man. So I hope you young millennials will take to heart how big of a challenge lies ahead of you. I'm your brother Seamus. I'm going to do all I can to put the word out. And I'm also going to try to reach out to any Trumpers who you might be beginning to realize that Trump ain't all he's cracked up to be. Hey, let me ask you this. Why did he let all those if January 6th was such a righteous event, which it wasn't, it was a brutal, violent event, but if it was righteous, according to the MAGA Nazis, how come Trump didn't? He's so rich. No, seriously, I'm asking this as a serious question as a psychologist. He's so rich, how come he didn't provide legal support for all the people that got arrested? He didn't give a shit about those people, and I don't know the answer to that other than maybe he doesn't. I know this might come as a shock. Maybe he doesn't give a shit about you. Yeah. Maybe he just doesn't give a shit about his own people. I would argue that just like all dictators, just like all wannabe kings, he does whatever he feels like doing. And your allegiance, your blind faith allegiance to Mr. Trump is just a tool that he uses. So there you have it, people. Healthcare, stochastic terror, black and brown voters, gun safety, and abortion. That's what you're actually voting on. And it doesn't mean the Democratic Party is free of corruption. We have our corruption. Bob Menendez is going to court right now. He and his wife had I don't know if you're caught up. Oh, Bob Menendez, Senator Bob, I'm laughing. I shouldn't laugh because maybe he's innocent, but I'll tell you what Bob's got up in there. Bob Menendez, Democrat. He's from out east. I want to say New Jersey. He got a bunch of gold bars. I think he had passports. I might be conflating with another crime, but lots of money I believe from foreign governments hidden in his house. Now, maybe he got it all legit. He says it's all legit, but why do you hide stacks of money? Why are you hiding cash and gold bars, Bob? As a member of the Senate, you probably, just like the Supreme Court, you probably should try to clean up your act and at least pretend to be a law-abiding citizen. I mean, I guess that's what you're doing. And maybe he'll get out of it. Maybe not. One last thought for Trumpers. If you feel like he's being picked on, I want to remind you of two things. One is almost everyone that's testifying against him, almost everyone is from his own party, and they probably worked for him. They're his own people. If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. And if you're banging a porn star, hashtag Team Stormy, if you're banging a porn star, Donnie, just admit it. You could have avoided all of this. He did it to himself, is what I'm saying. Democrats get prosecuted too. This is the first time that I think we've ever had to do this. He forced us to do this. The people testifying are his own people. Joe Biden didn't do this. Trump did it to himself. He chose to cover things up. He could have given the documents back. Classified documents. They all take some home by accident. Trump took a lot. There's a lot of boxes in that house. He had about 25 boxes stashed in his shitter. You know what I'm talking about down there with the chandelier? 25, 30 boxes it looked like to me. I don't know. But all he had to do was give them back. All he had to do was say, oops. Oops-a-daisies. That's what Joe Biden said. He said, oops-a-daisies. Mike Pence, oops-a-daisies. And guess what? They probably all, if they're sloppy at all with their record keeping, because they move around all the time. They're bringing shit with them everywhere. It happens. I don't know about a whole truckload happening like it did for little Donnie Pants, but hey, you know what? He likes his documents. They lied about it. All they were going to do is take them. And by the way, he's out there promoting this idea right now to y'all that the FBI wanted to shoot him. They were locked and loaded. The FBI, you can read this for yourself. Check any source. They intentionally did the search when he was in New Jersey, in Bedminster. They timed it so he wouldn't be there. They didn't want any confrontation. Good for the FBI. That's smart. But Trump wants you to believe that the FBI might be violent against him. You know why? Look at number 4. Look at number 4 on our list today, People's Stochastic Terror. He wants you, he's kind of denigrating the FBI like they're a bunch of traitors who would shoot a president. Because you know what? If you ask any FBI agent said, hey, even if you hated Trump and you got to raid his house, would you try to shoot him? And they would slap you silly. No, I'm kidding. They wouldn't slap you, but they would say, we're not trying to shoot anybody. Imagine the trouble they'd run into if they actually went in there guns a-blazing. Can you imagine guns a-blazing in Mar-a-Lago? Not in our lifetimes, people. But Trump has, I believe, helped. He's aided and abetted with the help of social media and disinformation in general, and the GRU in particular. Trump has, I believe, caused, in my opinion, 2 different attacks on FBI facilities. It's not always he tells them to go attack. It says, oh, the FBI was going to kill me. What do you guys think about that? He gets in their heads through their amygdala, through Facebook, through repetition, and he says, hey, FBI was going to shoot me. They came into my house to fucking shoot me. Pardon the F-bomb. Sometimes Brother Seamus drops an F-bomb. So just tell your friends this. You only need to remember one thing. You can prove this to yourself in any which way you want. They did the search. They executed the search while Trump was out of town. They did it on purpose. So keep that in mind. Trump didn't help any of the Jan 6 people when they were in jail. He didn't give anybody legal assistance. He could have covered all of their legal bills. But they don't really mean anything to him, so he didn't do it. Also, all of the witnesses, for the most part, are Republicans who used to work for him. His own people are providing evidence. Joe Biden didn't set that up. He couldn't if he tried. And the third thing is, all he had to do was give the documents back. All he had to do was not lie about having sex with Stormy Daniels. That's why Bill Clinton got in trouble, right? It wasn't a BJ, hey, listen, I'm not here to judge. What's that? Little Billy C over there. Well, that sounds bad. Billy C. He was hooking it up with his intern. And that's between him and his wife and whatever and God. It's none of our business. But then I think he made the mistake of lying about it. Because he's the famous words, right? I did not have sex with that woman. He shouldn't have been bragging about it. Oh, he should have been. I was going to say, I don't think he was bragging. They forced him to say that. He then claims on a technicality, because he's a lawyer, like he's like a BJ ain't sex. You know what I'm saying? BJ's not sex. So Trump got himself into this hot water. Also, final point on Mr. Donnie Pants. I'm tired of talking about him, but I just want you all millennials and Gen Z to know where this is headed. So forget about hashtag Sleepy Joe. Think about the issues that I'm pointing at, but you can't see because they're on the other screen. Think about the issues you're voting for. Healthcare, stochastic terror. And if you think Trump is being persecuted, if you're a Trumper, keep in mind, y'all been sending him a shit ton of money. I think he broke records this last month. You've given him so much money for his legal defense. He's got the best lawyers money can buy. Now, it's true, certain lawyers won't work with him because they think he's a criminal. And they're right, he is a criminal. He's going to be found guilty. We all kind of know that, even if you love him. I mean, don't you think, Bill, at this point, Trump, you have to admit what he is, right? Even people that love Trump know that he's breaking all these laws. There you go. Amen. I don't know if y'all heard that. Bill said he'll take sleepy over creepy any day. Just keep in mind what you're voting for. Sleepy over creepy. I'm your brother Seamus, and as always, I want to leave you with some good dance numbers. A good dance number, I should say. I'm going to turn that up a little. I'm here to help. I've been a psychologist for 30 years. It doesn't mean I know everything, but I know some brainwashing when I see it. Petition your Congress people to get rid of Section 230. Social media companies should not be immune from prosecution. That's like saying to a cop, you can shoot anybody you want. You can shoot them in the back when they're running away from you. If you give people that kind of immunity, they will abuse it. And we've given Facebook so much immunity. We got to take it back. Section 230, millennials and Gen Zs, it's all in your hands. If you vote in record numbers like 80%, if you vote at the levels that black women vote at, you can have the Bernie Sanders program just like that. Just like that. And if you don't believe me, just do the math. But your brother Seamus wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't lie, would I, Bill? Bill's deep in thought. Abortion, gun safety, black and brown voters, stochastic terror, health care. That will all be on the exam. For those of you that are taking this class as an elective, part of the humanities for the welding program. If I say abortion, you say hashtag Sleepy Joe. If I say gun safety, hashtag Sleepy Joe. Black and brown voters, hashtag Sleepy Joe. Stopping stochastic terror, hashtag Sleepy Joe. Improving upon healthcare, maybe getting proper universal healthcare for the first time in the history of this country, hashtag Sleepy Joe. You don't have to love him. This ain't about love. This is about running the ball up the middle. Also known as 33 Blast. That was your brother Seamus's favorite play to run back in grade school football. Get on over to Humans for Democracy on Bonfire, ladies and gentlemen. Bonfire.com/Humans for Democracy /store. Bonfire.com/store/Humans for Democracy. You can get an Immigrants Make Great Americans t-shirt. They got all kinds of flavors and styles over here. So I was talking to my buddy Jim down there. My buddy Jim down there at the Sizzler for the early bird special 4:30 supper. And he told me the more that he stays on Facebook, because Jim's in his 50s, he's a Facebook devotee, right? And Facebook has the most powerful algorithm. So Jim says he's up on that Facebook all night long. And I was like, Jim, you can't. That's too much Facebook. Buddy, that's too much Facebook is what I'm saying. He agrees. And he's slowly but surely pulling away from it. And I want you to do the same, people. I want you to get away from that Facebook now. Put it down. Put the mouse down. Stop watching. What'd you call it, Bill? Farce book. Oh, that's good. I like that. There's nothing like talking to real people, folks. And now I want to express an opinion that may upset some Trump voters, and I don't mean to be upsetting. But I want to give a big shout out to Stormy Daniels. I think she told the truth. I think she's very brave. I think she's very brave to get up in there. Go Stormy. Go Stormy. We want to thank Stormy for what I think is a public service, actually. I don't know if she thinks of it that way. She might be sick to death of all this crap. And like I said earlier, he didn't have to get in trouble for that. He got himself in trouble by lying about it. It's the cover-up. Yeah. Go Stormy. Go Stormy. So buy some t-shirts. Give Stormy a follow. Watch her movie. I think she's got a movie coming out. I think she told the truth on behalf of America to let people know that, you know, little Donnie Pants, he's a little bit of a liar. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm not saying everything she said was true. But Stormy, if you ask me, as a psychologist for 30 years, if you look at their behavior, the way they talk, the way they engage, the behind-the-scenes information, it all lines up for Stormy. Stormy is... Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy. It lines up with Stormy. It don't, with little Donnie Pants there, his story keeps being ridiculous. There's so many inconsistencies in this story. So, but if you don't believe Stormy, that's fine. We're all allowed to believe who we want. I think the jury believes Stormy, and I think he's going to get convicted, and I think some of y'all should get ready for that. For you millennial Gen Z voters, that will be probably the next surge of stochastic violence. Will be as if Donald Trump gets convicted. If he gets convicted, there's going to be a surge of stochastic violence because he'll call for it. He's already he's priming the pump right now by saying that the FBI came in, ready to shoot him. He wasn't even there. He was quiet over there. We don't recommend violence on this show. No, seriously. They waited till he was in Bedminster. That's all you need to know. And now you know what a big liar he is. And, when in doubt, just remember, MAGA is Nazis. And I'm your brother Seamus. I'm not going to lie to you. But you do need to get the F off social media. Go outside, talk to your neighbors. Don't get all your reality from inside Farcebook. Thank you, Bill. Don't get your reality from a virtual space. Talk to your friends. Go Stormy, 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 go Stormy. Ooh. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy. That's right. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, 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 go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. That's right. Go Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, 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 Storm. Go Stormy, Storm. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy. Go Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy, go Stormy, go Stormy, Stormy, Stormy. Go Stormy.
Sure do like dressing snappy. Answers her Pal-Israel. Sure sees. Stand Nancy sees. Stand with them Nazis. Sure do like dressing her Pal-Israel. Sure do like dressing snappy. Answers her Pal-Israel. Stand Nazis. Stand with them Nazis. Sure do like dressing snappy.
All right, that's it for today, people. I've said all I can say. I've said the same thing like 26 times. Give it up for the brave women like Stormy who fight back. Don't let the bullies of the world take over the government. That's another way to think of Jan Donny Pants. Just a bully. Just another bully. He enjoys hurting people, I would argue.
Go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, stormy, stormy. Go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, stormy, stormy. Go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, 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 storm. Go stormy. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh, 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 oh yeah, oh yeah, oh, oh. Go stormy, 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 go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, 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 go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, go stormy, stormy, stormy.